Helms is also brought to us by Christina Haig. Yes. He is a beauty culturist and writer. Harvey, not Christina, although she's pretty good too. Drawing on 30 years of experience in cosmetics, fashion, and design, he's held the positions ranging from Global Director of Beauty for Revlon Cosmetics to Executive Director of Special Events for Donna Karan Beauty. Harvey pens a beauty celebrity column for the top 10 women's site, Betty's Confidential, where he featured moi and you. Okay, Harvey says, empowering women is my fate. Helping them is my fun. I love that. I heart Harvey. A self-professed shock, beauty junkie, and shopaholic, Harvey shops every day. He was born to shop. I hope you'll take me shopping. If you need something, he knows where to get it. Working in beauty as long as he has, Harvey knows almost every perfect product made today. We're going to have to talk. Chances are he's tried them himself and they're in his bathroom. It's like a warehouse in there. He knows what works and what doesn't. He knows the moment you look in the mirror and realize that your eye cream isn't working for you anymore. Hello, it's time for the doctor or a medically licensed skin spa. He knows the procedures and has personally benefited from some of them himself. He'll share. He's not shy. I'm more than a little afraid of what he's going to say to me. Okay. Blush is Harvey's memoir-based traumedy of a gay man from the South who accidentally ends up in the cosmetic industry and goes on a limb to the top of the lipstick pyramid. With a humorous lens, the book examines serious topics such as racial prejudice, bullying, and the cutthroat culture of corporations. At a time when the public is encouraging gay men that it gets better, Harvey's tale of trial and triumph could never have come at a better time, nor could his visit to us. Ladies, please welcome Harvey.
Hello, ladies. Everybody and gentlemen. Well, first let me say, Christina Haig, I love you, love you, love you. Wish you were here today. She's awesome. So thank you for connecting me to Vicki, who I already love. And the two boys in the room are responsible. I'm responsible for that, but they're straight. Okay? Well, they always go because Rich Smith is my business partner. So when I say he's my partner, I have to say, no, he's not my partner. And he's awesome. He's very shy. I talk to him. And the other one is so let's give Philip a applause because he's newly engaged. So is it okay? I'm a little bit nervous because I haven't done this before, so I'm not Hollywood or anything. Is that okay?
Dressed better. It's
no, don't worry about that. Honey, we'll talk about beauty at the break. So, is it okay if I read a few excerpts from the book? Just to give you a little bit of background, I was one of the first male beauty blasters to sell behind the counter in the South, as Vicki told you. And Tammy Faye Baker was one of my customers. And it truly is, when I started to write this, it truly was a trauma. I spent about 30-something years in the cosmetic industry. And so it really is my rise up the lipstick pyramid. The book, it's a fast read, and I hope you like it. It's funny, there are some traumatic parts, and I'm going to read a little bit of it to you today. Because I was almost murdered in college for being gay. But, no, it's okay. Writing the book, can I tell you something? Writing the book is like 20 years of therapy. Like this, and you're like this. If I can talk about it now, I'm good. Right? So let me get to this, because I know we got over here. So I'm going to start with the preface, okay? Since I was 19 years old, I've known that I would release my diary for the world to see. Why now? Well, a few years back, I was sitting in a movie theater in Cincinnati, Ohio, watching The Devil Wears Prada. I absolutely adore Meryl Streep. Who doesn't, other than any other actress nominated? About halfway through the film, when Meryl's character, Miranda Priestley, starts continuously dumping those delicious coats in handbags on Andrea's desk, I realize that I'm laughing hysterically in places where no one else in the theater. Now, I know I'm a New Yorker transplanted into Ohio, but this is hilariously wicked stuff and incredibly true to life. I've worked for the Miranda Priestley character several times in my own cosmetic career. I look over to my Ohio friend and ask, why aren't people laughing? He says with a mouthful of popcorn, honey, this movie isn't believable. It's sickly funny, but it's not real life. After a sip of Diet Coke and a swoosh of my hair, almost Cher, I had longer hair than I was blonde. I turn sharply and say, oh yes it is. My mind instantly does a flashback to She-Dragon's Man drama and lipstick. If this friend didn't believe the crazy truth of the story, then other people outside of urban cities probably didn't either. As I left the theater that fated evening, I knew immediately that I had to share my diary, blemishes and all. Blush is a memoir traumedy taken from the pages of my diary about a boy who has dreams of love and success in a world that seems against him from the very beginning. Little did I know that after accidentally tripping into the cosmetic industry, that the allure of cosmetics would be so addictive and that people could be so ridiculous. I think this is why we have no memory. Or ability to know the future when we're born. If we knew what was coming, we'd return to our mother's vagina and immediately redecorate our vagina mini. Are the people in this book real? Yes, they are. I've changed some names and actual timing and dates when my drama happens so the Valium overdose can be avoided. If anyone reading this book sees the story differently, then I suggest you write your own book. If we owe each other apologies for the drama that happened, no worries. Karma has a way of leveling the playing field of life. I hope you're all well and prospering because many things can happen when people interact. Some nice and some, well, let's just say it makes for great reading. I'm gay, so of course everything will be over-exaggerated. As you read it, if y'all read the book, remember it's just like, oh, it's just Harvey. If while reading the story you find I accidentally mistake the shade of lipstick you were wearing at a party when you were tearing me apart, please forgive me, my memory is what it is. So my pretties, before you begin to read, my advice is to immediately apply waterproof mascara. You never know when a tear of joy or sadness could ruin your look. I love Lancome and Dior waterproof formula. The pink and green tube from Maybelline always works too if you're on a budget. But if you're a true beauty junkie like me, you already knew that. Loving air kisses for no smudging, Harvey. Okay, that's the best thing. So in this book, I start each with I collected quotes and I've written them down. So this is Harvey the Diary prequel. It kind of gives you a little speech, just a few paragraphs. 1962 to 1984. The quote from this, a girl doesn't read this sort of thing without her lipstick. Audrey Hepburn, Breakfast at Tiffany's. I didn't start keeping a diary until I was about 11 years old. Am I boring y'all? Is this good?
No!
I didn't start keeping the diary until I was about 11 years old. So here's the tea and backstory that will give you a glimpse into the prequel of my reality. Harvey BC, before cosmetics. Ready? Here we go. I was born gay, and there was no closet for me to hide in. Gay boy drops out of his mother's womb like an Amex at a Prada sample sale. It doesn't matter what the church or Dr. Spock says, I was gay when I took my first breath. You'd have to walk a mile in my high heels to confirm this. When the doctor first slapped my ass, I said, oh no, you didn't. Balenciaga handbag falls out of my mouth. No one has ever really asked me if I'm gay. Wait, I take that back. The only person who ever asked me if I was gay was my mother, Grace, and I guess it was out of Southern Belle courtesy. Flashback, it's 1974. Think Harvey Milk, think Anita Bryant, but not for too long. Think Stonewall, think Southern boy living down the street from the KKK, think faggot, think sissy, queerbait, lightened loafers, Queen Mary, and friend of Dorothy. I've been called everything. Get it? I use the word faggot in this book because that's the vile word I heard at least 5 times a day for so many years. So if you're upset reading it or hearing it today, I understand. People use this to make me feel like shit, and it worked. Horrible, really. So if I'm lucky enough to be interviewed by Matt on the Today Show or have my own fabulous Barbara Walters special before the Academy Award, I was kidding. I hope they understand there's no disrespect intended when I use that word. I hope you understand too. It was my reality for a long time. It gets me emotional. So.
Yeah.
It was my reality for a long time, and I still hear it occasionally today, depending on what part of the world I find myself in. Coming out, forced by my mother. I'm 11 years old, and I'm reaching into the fridge for something to drink when my mother suddenly confronts me. I'm going to do my mother for you guys. Are you gay? And I'm actually, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Why, yes, Mother, I am. Well, Harvey, you will never be happy. Are you, Mother? End of conversation. So here, at her funeral, I looked down in the casket and realized that my mother was just a woman with her own problems. She happened to give birth to me, but she had her own life full of drama. Most Southern women are candy-coated evil, and I mean that. I love that about it. I have a friend who's a native New Yorker who says that Southern women with those sweet accents can say, "Kiss my ass," and you'll respond, "Why, thank you, I'd love to." Can I read a little bit more, Mike? Yeah. Okay, so this goes in my very first day. The chapter is called "I'm the Revlon Girl." Okay? This is May 19th, 1984, and so the quote is, "When life is a real bitch again and my old sense of humor has up and gone, it's time for the big switch again. I put a little more mascara on." That's Jerry Herman LaCaja. So this gets in because it's a diary. I have a roommate named Tim and Richard. They're hysterically funny. We've been friends for a million years. So this is my first day, and I didn't want to go into cosmetics. So there's a lot more before this happens, okay? Tim, I'm not going to do this because it has big gay disaster written all over it and you know it. I don't care if I'm supposed to start tomorrow. They can find someone else, so hurry up and give me a light. I need a cigarette, okay? I always smoke Marlboro Lights when I'm nervous, and this is definitely one of those moments. My roommate, Tim Richmond's, hands me his lighter, and thankfully, my next gin and tonic. This is drink number 4. Children of alcoholics always count their drinks. I remember being a little boy counting the number of Pabst Blue Ribbon beers Daddy would guzzle on a daily basis. My other roommate, Richard Brunstone, ex-minister and Tim's boyfriend, keeps saying, "Harvey, you have to do this because if you don't, you'll fail your internship." So this was part of an internship I was doing. Besides, you're the biggest beauty queen I know and you're a natural. Richard is always the calm practical. You're right, Richard. All I need is a big fat F on my internship. With all this current retail drama looming, I decide to relax by applying my Queen Helene Mint Julep Cleansing Mist. It's like an industrial strength shot back for your pores, minty fresh. Masking, smoking, drinking, and pacing the floor, I'm checking every few seconds to see if Queen Helene has dried down on my skin. Tim looks at me and asks, "When are you going to call Grace, Harvey? You better call your mother now, because if she hears this from someone else, you'll have hell to pay." Oh, Mother. I down my gin and tonic, the liquid nerve that I very much need before calling Grace and giving her the news. "Hello, Mother?" It's never Mom or Mommy, it's always Mother. Tim whispers, "Come on, Harvey, get this news out fast before she can interrupt." I go for it. "Guess what, Mother? I have a new job and I'm going to work in the cosmetic department at Belk's, and I start tomorrow and I'm really nervous but excited too." And I take a breath. Silence, big breath, I begin again. "So, Mother, this is a great opportunity and Mrs. Thomas thinks it's a good idea and I think I could be good at it. So what do you think, Mother?" Silence. The first words out of her mouth are, "Harvey, have you been drinking?" "Harvey, how am I going to tell your father this?" I yell back, "Mother, it's the 1980s, for God's sake." I glance over to the mirror to check out my flock of seagulls' hair. Thank you, final navigators. Arguing, Grace conveniently says, "Harvey, I didn't raise you to speak to your mother this way. Didn't I get you Barbie's dream house that one Christmas?" "Oh, Mother, why are you always using Barbie against me?" "Harvey, I raised you as a beauty queen, so this must be all my fault." I hate it when she does this. Grace becomes the martyr, and I feel the guilt. She whimpers, "All this recent unpleasantness must just be my fault." Grace loves the phrase recent unpleasantness. Whenever the subject of the Civil War comes up, she always... Are we talking about that recent unpleasantness? But as always, my mother, in true candy-coated evil form, will balance all that negativity that she just spewed at me by ending on a positive note. "Well, Harvey, I know that whatever you'll do it well. Bye-bye." She does this all the time. Something negative and something positive, i.e., he's a horrible alcoholic, but he's got lovely children. And after the big finish with her sing-songy bye-bye, I mimic her bye-bye and slam the phone down. Tim looks at me and pulls out the gin. "Another?" I nod my head in agreement.
unlucky in love.